Welcome to the Page by Page Book Club. I'm your host, Paige Imprint, and I bring you weekly book club meetings wherever you get your podcasts. Hello. I missed you guys last week. Oh my gosh. I took a little week off. We did a little rebrand. I don't know if you noticed, but we had a little rebrand moment. The podcast cover is fun, funky, fresh, and new. I did a bit of rebranding over the holiday break, and I loved the black and white aesthetic I had, if you've been around. I thought it was so fun, but I was like, you know what? I don't know if black and white is me. I feel like I'm a colorful gal. I love a pastel. I love an opalescent moment. So we did a little rebrand. The new logo, the new vibe, the new cover is here. Same goes for my social media accounts. We've kind of adjusted the brand there. So hope you love it. And that's why we were under construction there for a moment. But we're back. And I'm so happy to be back. We are going to be discussing my January reads and my February release radar / TBR. Okay. I come to you with not great news. And that not great news, oh God. And that got, oh my gosh, I can talk. Come on now. And that not great news is I didn't read very much in January. I don't know what happened. Well, okay, I do know what happened. I did a lot of alpha reads in January, some of which I'm not able to talk to you all about, which stinks for the podcast perspective, but I love doing it. What an alpha read is reading a book in the very first draft format from an author to kind of help them with any adjustments that might need to be made throughout the drafting process. Love doing it, but I read them on my laptop, and I am slow as a snail when I read on my laptop. I don't know what it is. My Kindle, I can just zoom through things a little bit faster, but I had 3 alpha reads this month, and I was not zooming. There was no zooming to be had. No zooming in sight. So that was 3 of the books that I can't even talk about, which kind of stinks. But just know in your heart that I read them. Aside from that, what I can talk to you about, and what I did read at the top of the month, I mentioned this in my first podcast back. I read 2 books in the month of December. I desperately needed a break after burnout. And so I feel like January was my ramping back up month. In February, I would love to try to read 20 books. Now, a little too ambitious? Probably. But I'm going to try? Yes. So, we were talking about a lot about the past and the future, and let's just talk about what happened this month. Let's just get right to it. This month, I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books. I read 8 books this month. Actually, that's not too shabby. Well, 8 books I can tell you about, and then an additional 3. Wait a minute. I was giving myself a really hard time there. I retract my I didn't read very much this month statement. 11 books this month. Okay, that's pretty in the norm for me. Okay, I retract my statements. But nonetheless, 8 books I can talk to you about. We're going to start off with Of Ink and Alchemy by Sloane St. James. This is the first book in her brand new Black Rabbit series. It follows a tattoo shop, and it is, if you're a fan of the Lakes hockey series, Camden Banksy Teller's brother, Logan. Oh, I loved him. He was a quiet guy. He was good friends with her dad. He is her mentor. She's the apprentice because she is hoping to follow in her father's footsteps and be a tattoo artist herself. So he is mentoring her. And what's funny about this book is her dad always knew they'd end up together. Always knew they ended up together, which is kind of fun. I love that about this story. Dad was confident that they'd be together, so that's a really fun part of this. But he also lightly stalks her, right? And who doesn't love to see it? But then she has a for real stalker, who's bad news. So bad news stalker and then love interest stalker. So it makes for kind of a fun dynamic. I would say he's diet stalking, but he is also morally gray. He does a few things that are questionable in an effort to win the girl over, and who's to blame him? So I really enjoyed Of Ink and Alchemy. Sloane has just a very particular prose, in my opinion, and she's just She's extremely unique in her writing style. So if you love the Lakes Hockey series, I think you'll love this one too. And there was something else I was going to tell you about this book, and it is escaping me. Oh man, but I loved it. I loved Black Rabbit. I think it's going to be a really, really cool, unique new world. I remember I knew it would come back to me. If you're unfamiliar with Sloane St. James and this is piquing your interest, I do want to flag to you. Sloane is a spicy gal. If you're picking up a Sloane St. James book, you better believe you're going to get some spice. So lock in for that. But loved Of Ink and Alchemy. It was a great read. Straight into that, couldn't be more different. I read In a Heartbeat by Laura Pavlov. It is a childhood best friends to lovers, to strangers, to enemies, to lovers, if you will. And it is the 5th book in the Rosewood River series from Laura. If you've been around for the past few months, you know I've been loving this series. I think that it is laugh out loud funny. The family that it follows is so darling, and the small town is just adorable. So this book in particular, they were best friends in high school, and then they had like an evening together that ultimately leveled up their friendship, if you will. And then through it was not a miscommunication. It was more of a third-party lie. There was a crossing of wires, and they haven't talked for 2 years, but she's back in town and needs a job, so she applies to work for him, and it's this whole thing, and a lot of it is unraveling and uncovering what happened in the past between the two of them, and if they can both move forward despite what had happened between them. It's crazy. On top of all that, her dad sucks. Her brother sucks. So there's that like added element. So like to be particular, she was involved in extremely high level equestrian, and her dad sold her horse out from under her. And I won't explain exactly what's happening because I don't want to spoil it, but what I will say is, from a swoony perspective, if you want to go in totally blind, just skip forward. But from a super swoony perspective, he buys her horse back. He finds and buys it back for her. Like, what a swoony moment. I love that. So, that's In a Heartbeat. It was a really great read. If you haven't read the Rosewood River series, you are missing out. The audiobooks are absolute top tier audiobooks. And I believe the last book in the series is on its way to us in February. So fingers crossed that I will be adding that into my February TBR, anticipated reads. Love it. Okay. Now we take a brief intermission to discuss the Poker Club series by Maggie Gates. Oh my gosh. I am obsessed with this. I am obsessed with the Poker Club series by Maggie Gates, and you should be too. There's something so sitcom Friends coded about this series, as it follows a group of friends who meet together every Monday night to have poker club and have poker night together, and sometimes they I'm getting twisted up. Sometimes they play poker, sometimes they don't, but it's the camaraderie of it all, and they have to like vote for someone new to join the poker club and all these things, so that's where like the significant others come into play, but each person in the poker club gets their own love story, and it's just really, really beautiful. The first one I read back when the audiobook came out, and it's called Poker Face, and it's the professional chef, and she's a pastry chef, and she goes on to a baking show and wins, and he's one of the judges, and he's like the like Simon Kalash judge who's like straight face, really tough guy, but they actually had met the night before and didn't know that the other was who they were. Anyway, all this comes to be, she hates him, like, as a celebrity, and didn't realize it was him. And so he ends up buying the restaurant that she works at, and they're having to, like, work together and all these things, and he's falling for her, and she hates him, and it's like, the tension's great. So, I read that way back. Now that the audios are coming out, I am listening to these. The second book is Wild Card, and it is, like, the final boss of Reformed Playboy Billionaire. You don't understand. No. That's book 3. Pause. Book 2. Book 2 is a widow MMC, and the new to town, newly widowed FMC. So she moves to town with her fiance, and he very unfortunately passes in a car accident where our MMC is the like responding officer, and he is a widower. He lost his wife to cancer. So she is living on a houseboat that is docked in his backyard. So the forced proximity between them is so good. And then they obviously have this like shared grief that they move through together and ultimately fall in love in the midst of. It's wild. So now we go to book 3, which is the reformed playboy final boss dude. Oh my gosh. It is called Square Deal, and he's the best man in book 1, MMC's wedding. They're dear friends, and he's like playboy. Like, I cannot express this to you enough. Like, truly listen to me when I say the man's involved, okay? She's the wedding planner and good friends with FMC from the first book. She's part of the poker club, and he's like, I'm attracted to you, so you know what that means? And she's like, I don't think so. And ultimately, he charms her, of course. And then he's like, actually, I can't get you out of my head after they are stuck together in a hurricane. So he's like, shall we enter into a deal, a friends with benefits deal for a limited period of time? And then, of course, what would you know? They fall for each other. And wouldn't you know it? Oh, I loved it. It was a great one. And then book 4, which I think is my favorite up until this point, is In Spades. It's a secret billionaire undercover boss. She is the oldest sister and single guardian to her younger siblings. And she's the head housekeeper at the inn that like a lot of the series surrounds. She's part of the poker club herself. And she's falling for this guest who's staying there. And come to find out, yep, you guessed it. Oh, you guessed it. He's the boss. But his or her siblings are like absolutely falling for him as well. It's all these things. Is he going to tell her he's the boss? Etc. etc. I'm obsessed. So that is the Poker Club series, and I had so much fun reading it. Like truly. And there's 2 books left, and I'm waiting for the audios. I don't know. I've just been in an audiobook kick lately, or an immersive kick lately. So that's kind of where we're at. Then I did a reread of Whistleblower by Kay Cove. And I said it on my reading vlog for this, but I'm sure many of you are thinking to yourself, Paige, why are you rereading one of your favorite books? What's going on here? Well, first of all, can a girl reread a favorite? I'm asking the question, can a girl reread a favorite? However, I reread Whistleblower for work. It was such a delight. I was doing a content poll. A content poll is where you read a book and highlight the marketable quotes to share with the author so that they can use it in the promotion of their book or series. So that's what I was doing. Man, Whistleblower is unlike anything. And reading it for a second time has uncovered so many Easter eggs for me that made me so excited for the Paladin series to continue. If you're new here, the Paladin series follows a quasi-government agency who's responsible for eliminating evil people from this world. It is a vigilante organization of professional eliminators of people. In this particular book, our FMC is hired to be HR for this organization. And, well, it's a bit more complicated than HR, but she specializes in, like, people and company culture and those kind of things, but it's a big joke throughout the thing. And she is like so squeamish, hates violence, hates weapons, all the things. And of course, she's falling in love with who but a professional assassin, who's the swooniest book boyfriend, truly. Like, he steps up, she's his first ever girlfriend, and he's so sweet to her, like truly so sweet to her. So we love that. And that's Whistleblower. I am going to be reading Tattletale in February to continue on this journey. So if you're not, we will be talking about the second book in the series at that time. So, that was a little reread action. You're going to be finding that I'm doing a little bit of rereading as of late, for work, but, that will be pretty temporary. Okay. I am so excited to talk about a brand new series. Oh my gosh. Well, new to this channel, kind of. I've talked about Easy Out by Ginger Walls before, which is book 1 in the Newhouse University series, it follows a friend group on the campus of Newhouse University in Montgomery, Alabama. Montgomery representation. I love this. So, book one, I read, if you'll remember, way back, either early 2025 or even late 2024. I want to say 2024. Maybe even like earlier in 2024. But I really, really enjoyed it. It was like, he's a baseball player, near silent. She is paired with him on a school project. And part of the expectation of the project is that you get to know your project partner like pretty intimately, to be able to like write a piece on them. And neither of them want to be vulnerable enough to like kind of expose their pasts. But they have to be, and they end up falling for each other through that. So that was the first book. And then super luckily for me, the next two books were officially out on audio. So, I listened to that. It was an audio heavy month, y'all. So Strike Zone is book two, and it's everything I love in an MMC. Oh my gosh. Like golden retriever funny guy with like a bit going on at home. I Page and Print am on record multiple times stating that's my favorite. And so, our MMC here is exactly that. And he approaches our FMC and is essentially like, can you please set me up with your roommate? Because he heard her singing, or who he thought was her roommate singing, and is like, I can't get her voice out of my head. Well, yeah, you guessed it. It's a romance book that the voice was hers. It was our FMC's, not the roommate at all. So the first, third of the book is like them getting to know each other and becoming friends while she's trying reluctantly or like hesitantly to set him up with the roommate. And all the while they're becoming like best friends. And I really loved the pacing of this book, and I really, really loved the way you watch them go from strangers to reluctant acquaintances to friends to best friends to them falling for each other. Like, it was paced really well. Each scene was intentional and pushed the like yearning and the tension forward. Like, I really, really thought Ginger did a stunning job with this one. And then I read the third book in the series called Foul Territory, and it is the ever beloved best friend's brother. My brother said you can't date my sister when they were like 12, but he was already in love with her, and they've been in love with each other. And in fact, they even had a night together. It's in the prologue, on their high school graduation night. And then unfortunately, he was like, that was a mistake, which, let's not use the M word in a romance book, yes? But anyway, that is like the biggest regret of his entire life. And is she still in love with him and trying not to be? Yes. Is he always been in love with her and can't get over her also? Yes. And, it was so good. And she's not a book talker or bookstagrammer, but she is very present on bookish forums and like review platforms, and think like kind of Discord about books and series. And so he has an account on this platform that's anonymous, and he's been like following her and reading every single one of her favorite books for years. And then it's all come to a head because he's now anonymously one-on-one chatting with her, and he knows it's her. She doesn't know it's him. Is she gonna find out? Is she not? I don't know. So, loved it. Ate that story up. It again was paced really interestingly and well, followed the progression of the intensity of their relationship and the feelings that they both had for each other secretly. And I had a really great time. So really, really looking forward to continuing the series in the final book, at least the final book that's out right now, called Hard Count. I am awaiting the audio. But I could be convinced to eyeball read it. I could be. So I'm really into the series. Loving Newhouse University by Ginger Walls. If you're in the market for college baseball romance, get into it. And then, as I mentioned, I had 3 alpha reads. All were incredible. All for my incredible, lovely clients. And I really do have such a unique. I have the best job in the world. I really do. I get to work with my favorite authors every single day. How cool is that, dude? It's It's so, so cool. My husband joked with me the other day. He's like, you'd be reading these books anyway, and now you get to read them in their first draft. And I'm like, it's so cool. It's unreal. It's such a blessing. So I will be chatting about those as they release. They'll be releasing here soon. So if you're not, you won't have to wait for too long. Now, the question becomes, Paige, what are you planning to read in February? I'm so glad you asked. Currently, I'm reading Tattered Tides by Sarah A. Bailey. Yes, the ever awaited for first book in the second gen series to the Pacific Shore series. So definitely on the edge of my seat. I'm excited to read or keep reading that one. I'm doing a reread of Strong and Wild by Sloane St. James. Enough said. Oh my gosh. I think this is her spiciest one. Strong and Wild is just, it hits different. It hits different. It's baseball rookie. He makes her hate him because she's a cam girl in an effort to like save up money to be an entrepreneur. We talked about it last episode. It's so good. So yeah, Tattered Tides is in the works. I'm currently listening to, it's not in this episode because I read it, in February, because I'm recording this in February. Fun fact, this comes out tomorrow. It is currently 4 p.m. the day before. So if that just tells you where I'm at currently with the workload. But we're doing it. We're fighting for it. We're getting through it. So currently reading the Carrington Cove series, Harlow James. This is my first experience with Harlow, and I'm loving it. You may be like, I thought you said you were currently reading the first book in that series, like, way back in the fall. And I had to pause it, to read something for work. It was not a DNF at all. It was like a true pause because I needed to read things for work, and I'm just now able to get back into it, with the timing of my work reads. But let me tell you what, I am loving this series. Small town romance, beautifully driven by conflict, but I'm on the second book, and the second book is all the makings of everything that a page in print is going to like. It is, well, okay, here's the thing. It's the Golden Retriever MMC again, and here, look, like, are we surprised? No, we're not surprised. Golden Retriever MMC again, and she's a widow, and it's her late husband's best friend. However, prior to her husband passing, they had already agreed that they would be going separate ways, and that the relationship wasn't a good fit. So, it's similar in many ways to Bourbon and Secrets by Victoria Wilder. While they are devastatingly a widow or widower, the relationship had come to an end prior to the passing of the partner. So, if that's something that isn't usually, it feels taboo to you, there is a bit more of a, like, comfortability, with that going on because the relationship had come to an end prior to the passing. So, anyway, I'm loving that series. Harlow, if you love small town romance, Harlow James, check it out. Having a great time. If you want to jump in and read it with me, that's what I'm reading here at the beginning of the month. I'm going to just try to listen through this whole series, top to bottom. I don't have anything for work currently that I'm listening to. I am extremely excited to finally read And Now Back to You by B.K. Borson. Very excited about that book. The second book after First Time Caller. Many locals to the podcast will know I love First Time Caller. So I'm very excited for And Now Back to You. What else do we have coming in February? Of Ink and Alchemy is technically out now. It came out on the 3rd. I've already read it. But if you're listening, it's available. Man, what is coming out? What are you most excited about reading? Anything that's catching your eye? I know the final book in the Rosewood River series, I believe, is set to come out here in a bit, so keeping an eye out for that. But yeah, I am really, really making an effort to prioritize new to me authors, at least one a month. So Harlow is my February new to me author, technically. So I am absolutely in the market to add to my new to me authors TBR, and prioritize that. But yeah, I think I'm going to cut myself out there, and call that my recap in TBR. I am so glad you're here. I'm so grateful for this community. I'm so grateful for the kindness that you all show and support and love. It really does mean the world, and I couldn't do this without you. And I hope your month is full of incredible reads. I will be back next week with an episode. I'm not sure yet. I don't know yet, but I will surprise you. I would be just as surprised. It'll be thrilling. Can't wait. And until then, thank you as always for spending your time with me, and I'll see you in the next one.